Hello, this is an introduction to Module 1 for English 111 for Fall 2020. So if you're in Moodle and you click on Module 1, you will see that it is set up in 3 sections: reading assignments, resources, and then you've got your actual writing assignments that you will submit. The reading assignments are very important. You need to read through, even if you just kind of skim. Here is the actual video. You'll have one of these per module. I will have an introduction video that will kind of explain what this module is about, the expectations, and so forth. So you'll definitely need to watch the instructor video. The next 3 links here are links to information about grammar errors that most college students make, believe it or not. And a lot of these are major sentence errors that can warrant major point deductions because it causes the flow of the paper to be confusing. So you want to make sure that if you do have instances that, especially when you get your rough drafts back for your essays with my markings, you'll be able to look back at these links and be able to see what the mistakes are and how to correct them. Then you have the link, How to Write a Personal Narrative. This particular link gives some strategies for writing a personal narrative essay. And then you have another instructor video from me that goes over the personal narrative essay, that goes over the instructions and tries to clear up any misunderstandings. Next, you have the resources. The resources for this module are very important, as they are for every module. A lot are going to be repeat resources. For instance, the MLA resources, documents and tutorials, and then the all about plagiarism come from the course resources link here. I just moved them down there so that students don't have to keep going back and forth. But it is important in this section, you're not going to be documenting sources or citing sources in the personal narrative essay because it's your own story. But this, you'll need to click here to make sure that you know how to format an MLA essay, because it is very important that you know that and what that looks like. All about plagiarism, again, for a personal narrative, you just should not use somebody else's work and so forth. Here I provided a student sample personal narrative. You can click on this and see what the formatting looks like and also the content. The next section is the assignment section. There are 4 assignments for this module. The very first module assignment is going to be the plagiarism contract. Literally, you click on this, you read through it, and then you have to follow the instructions at the very end of it, submit in the submission box, and then click submit. It's basically you signing the contract saying that you understand what plagiarism is and what the instances of it are and what the consequences are as well. So that's an easy assignment to do. Just make sure you submit it because you don't want a 0 for an easy assignment. Here is the class introductions assignment. This is a discussion board assignment, so you'll want to make sure you click on it and then you will add your introduction to the class. You'll see mine there as an example, and then you will add yours. Keep note of the due dates. Then you have the assignment 3. This is going to be your personal narrative rough draft. And if you click on the link here, you will see that there are 2 documents. You have the personal narrative essay assignment, which is your actual instructions for the assignment, and then you have the checklist. So you've got both of these. You need to click on the assignment, you need to read through it, you need to go back and view my instructor video that goes over the assignment. But I do want to let you know that the assignment instructions are inside this link. So let me go back out. You have to submit a rough draft. They're required. It needs to be a full rough draft. Once you submit a rough draft, I will mark it up, and then you'll be able to go in the grade book and click on your grade and be able to see my markings and my comments. And then all you will need to do is go through and make those changes and submit as your final draft. Now, what if you make 100 on your rough draft? It doesn't happen a whole lot, but what if you made 100 on your rough draft? Do you still need to submit a final draft? Yes. Just resubmit. Okay? If you have point deductions for corrections not made on a rough draft, do you need to correct them if you're satisfied with your grade? Yes, because if you do not correct what I marked, what I spend time marking on your essays, And if you don't correct it for your final drafts, you're going to have more point deductions for that. So please make sure you correct what I marked. So if you don't understand something that I've marked and don't know how to correct it, that's when you need to email me. You'll submit your final draft here. And keep in mind the due dates. And what it will be, or what it will look like, is if you're submitting on Sunday the 23rd, and you could submit before then. If you submit on Sunday the 23rd, I will have that following week to get feedback to you, and I will usually have all feedback back to students by that Thursday. So it'll give you the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday over the weekend to correct the essay and then submit your final that following Sunday. So just make sure that you understand that I do have to grade. I've got actually 5 classes this semester, and it takes a lot of time to grade essays, especially 2-page essays per student, so per class. So just please be patient. Just understand that usually it takes about 2 weeks for me to grade a class set of essays, but since I'm requiring a rough draft or giving that as a chance to be able to correct things before you get your final in, then I need your patience, and I need you to understand that I will get your feedback to you, extensive feedback to you, as soon as I can, by Thursday, usually at the latest. And then you'll be able to submit your final by that Sunday. If something happens to where, I'm not able to, for whatever reason, then I'll extend the due date. So just be patient, and just know that I really do spend a lot of time giving feedback on these essays so that you guys can learn from your mistakes and correct them for your final. So that's just an introduction to Module 1. And if you have any specific questions about this essay, formatting, anything, just always feel free to either call me in my office at 828-448-6024, or you can email me. Email is probably the quickest way to reach me because I'm pretty much on email all the time since I teach all online. But I'm here for you. And remember, always put your best foot forward and really put effort into these rough drafts, because your rough draft grades are averaged with your final drafts. So you need to make sure you really bring it with the rough draft so that you can have an overall good grade for your final. Again, any questions, email me. Thank you.